And the worry for you is that you feel as if Stephen's going to be living for the rest of his natural life. He's relatively a young man, he's in his 50s. He's going to live the rest of his natural life in this environment, slowly but surely regressing as you think, because there's no rehab going on at all, either cognitively or physically.
Nothing at all.
Okay then, so that's where Stephen is at the moment. We're going to look at yourself, Jackie. I know it's quite hard, I know it's quite an emotive subject. What support have you had yourself from, say, statutory sector, voluntary sector organisations?
Right. I learned, actually, I learned quite a good lesson from an elderly neighbour of mine who'd nursed our husband for many years with MS. And she said, Jackie, when you go into a hospital environment or you go into, whatever, wherever Stephen is, you become a part of the family. And I was thinking, well, that's quite a big statement. But from Stephen's time, I became part of a family there, and it could be something as simple as the cleaner that would be on Stephen's corridor. And she was in fact, I believe she had learning difficulties herself. She was an exceptionally warm person. And she used to say, Jackie, just bring your own cup in and I'll wash your cup for you. And I just think, wow, this is amazing. And something as simple as that could make you feel part of something. And yes, I was the person sitting at the end of Stephen's bed. He was the one that was very ill. But I never, ever felt in the way. I always felt there was someone on board, whoever was on duty. How are you today, Jackie? Oh, I've never really thought about that today, but actually I'm all right. So I think that was important for me to certainly feel part of, from the National Health perspective, feel valued for my time and the hours that I put in with Stephen. When Stephen went to, again, the staff on Stephen's ward were extremely, caring, very much, supportive of me and conscious of the journey through, because that was a massive thing. I mean, it was a good 40-minute journey from work in Durham through to Walker Gate Park. You'd get stuck in traffic every day. It didn't matter which part of the Tyne Bridge you were on, you would be stuck in traffic. And so when you got there, I was usually quite exhausted, but they were very, very welcoming and very supportive of me. And I felt that was great. And then I met, she was doing an inclusion project, and I met up with her, and she became a friend. And I remember once coming out of the meeting to do with Stephen, some sort of a multidisciplinary meeting type thing. I can't remember what it was. And I came out, and I remember I had a file of all Stephen's drawings and all bits of writings that he'd wrote down, and I've kept everything. And I said, Helen, I said, I sat in that meeting and nobody, not one professional, doctor, nurse, whatever, wanted to have a look at that file. And I said, I put it on the table. And she said, do you mind if I have a look? And I said, no. And her and I were sitting having a cup of tea in the canteen, and she opened it up and she took her time at actually looking at every piece of drawing or writing that Stephen had done. And she just said, Jackie, she said, this is incredible. She said, I'm so sorry nobody bothered to have a look at it. I said, well, it doesn't matter, but you're having a look at it. And I said, that means a lot. And she became a really close friend. The chaplain in Watergate, great friend. And then I just feel for the past sort of 6 months, I've just been battling everyone. Oh.
What other support have you had?
I just, I would say from a personal point of view, from your friendship and guidance, and you're always there, and my daughter will often say, because she lives in London, and she'll say, Mum, talk it through with Alistair. Catherine, I'm not sure about this, talk it through with Alistair. And I'll say, God, he's got such an important job. No, he'll be there for you, and you have been.
I think it's quite significant that we're doing this interview today because of the phone call that I've just had. And I'm not sure where I go from this today, but the social worker that's involved with Stephen's case now, I think her role's been I think she's been in a difficult position. And I think if I had been Stephen's wife throughout all of this, or his long-term partner with whatever rights I might have had, I think I would have found the whole thing a lot easier, because to see Stephen as he is now from what he was before his accident, or a couple of years before his accident at least, that in itself is such an emotional journey that you're on, because you know that person will never be the same. May get a little bit better through time with the right care, but you know that person isn't the person you knew when you were younger, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. He's so vulnerable, he's so, without the support that I've had, I could never have supported Stephen. That means you, that means Joanne, Headway. I think the social worker's sort of coming around a little bit to my way of thinking. I think she actually understands me a little bit more now and knows the battle that I've got on my hands at the minute. And it's the biggest battle I've ever had in my life. Whether it be my neighbours who, often just pop round and just say, look, I've cooked a meal, I know you're running late, you're busy with visiting Stephen and working. There's a spaghetti bolognese for you. And it's like, oh, wow, that's great. So it can be from the littlest things like that to the most massive part of me and getting to where I am today, and that's you. Because if I'd never met you, I wouldn't have got as far as I have today.
Oh, very, very kind words, Jackie. Thank you. So with regards to Stephen's brain injury and brain injury information, where did you find much information out there, and the information that you did find, was it useful to you?
Yeah, I mean, the most information that I received was from yourself, from Headway. I know there was a couple of books that you suggested that I should go and read as well, and I got those out of the library, which proved very helpful with regards to a certain stage of where Stephen was, and I wasn't quite understanding where, why is he doing this? And you said, well, get this book out of the library and it'll tell you, or buy this book. But mainly, I would think from Headway, from the leaflets that you sent me, or stuff that I sort of got on the website myself. Is that all right? I mean, I can't think of anything else. Yeah.
That's fine. If you could go back to the time of Stephen's accident, what was the main thing that you would like to have happened differently, or been a better, would have meant a better outcome for you and for Stephen?
Right. Well, Stephen had his accident on the early Tuesday evening, but I didn't actually get to know about it until the Wednesday morning at school, because Stephen was obviously on his way to my house. He had rang me on my phone, but I'd missed his call, and when I rang him back, the phone was dead. So his mum rang me the next day actually to tell me that Stephen had an accident. And when I went in to see him in the ITU, obviously Stephen was very seriously ill, and I think what should have happened was Stephen probably should have gone straight to Well, I think it was such a serious brain injury, he should have gone straight there. And from there, if Stephen had gone to Portland for 6 months and had the ongoing rehab that he obviously needed, he needed to have it then. And then from there to now, I would have liked to have seen him gone from for more ongoing rehab. I think that would have been a better pathway for him, and I think he probably would have been a little bit further on than he is now, and I think it would have been a lot less stressful for me.
Right. So there's going to be, with this DVD that's been produced now, it's going to be made available for a wide range of professionals who work with people affected by neurological conditions, and obviously that includes brain injury. What would your advice be in how they can support people like yourself and people with brain injury.
Yeah, I think to bring people like myself, if someone else was in my situation, to feel a little bit more included. And yeah, my own position's been very difficult because I haven't been Stephen's wife throughout of this, and I'm sure it would have been easier if I had been. But to, you know, include us in everything and talk more, sort of more communication, and instead of making it more clinical around, you know, the table, to try and sort of ask for our point of view. How are we feeling? Have you got
about listening to your voice and
definitely. I mean, Alistair, I've sat round with many professionals in 2 or 3 different situations and never been asked. I think a couple of times, being asked a question, but never felt really included in it. And I think it's so important because at the end of the day, you hope that that person is going to move on from NHS provision or private provision or whatever back to the community, and it's us that hopefully are picking the pieces up, and it's us that for the rest of your life are going to be with that person. You're going to have to adapt your life around that person. So definitely more communication and making us feel more involved, definitely.
So final question for you, Jackie. What is your hope? What would be your ideal for the future?
Stephen and I want to sort of be together, obviously, for the future. I would like Stephen to be out of his current placement as soon as possible and to be getting some, you know, real good physiotherapy, some good cognitive therapy, everything he needs, which would give me time to sort of have my house adapted if I needed to, which I think I do just a little bit. And for us to, you know, for Stephen to be a part of a community, to access Headway activity days. You know, he's very interested in horticulture, to, you know, possibly take him to a college to do some sort of course to help him to feel a little bit more normal again, because I think he's been institutionalised for such a long time. You know, he came home at Christmas and spent Christmas with me and my children and their partners, and it went very well. He was very happy and wondered why I was taking him back and why I thought I was just being with you, and that was it. So that was hard, but that my hope is for Stephen and I to be able to live the best possible life we can together. We work well together, and I think I feel confident it would work, but I'm not sure whether that's going to be happening at the moment, but that's what I hope for the future.
Well, Jackie,
and he's been worth all the effort.
I wish you all the best with this, and you've been incredibly brave in doing this interview, and incredibly brave throughout the last 12 to 18 months that I've known you, and it is really good to see somebody that's really strong and really cares for the person that they love. Thank you very much for this interview.
Welcome.